Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everybody, we are from group 2. Today we will explain the result of our discussion about reading matters, extensive reading. Before that, let me introduce my group members. My name is Aurelia Putri Marlina, and my friends Amalia Gresiwari, Anggelina Putri, Angelia, Arni, Kristin, and Yulia Silpitri. First, I will explain about definition. What is extensive reading? Extensive reading is reading for pleasure or reading simply. Reading is its own reward. There are no question, task, or text. Reading is engaging and leads to students wanting to read more.
Why do extensive reading is useful for students, especially for us? The first point is to improve vocabulary and grammar. When we read something, we will find new vocabulary that we didn't know the meaning before, and we will tend to find it on dictionary, Google Translate, or any devices that we want. And when we read something, we will notice the grammar structure that we didn't understand before. By reading sentence by sentence, we will get used to it and make us easier to apply it in our daily life. And that would lead us to the second point, which is to improve writing and speaking abilities. As now we have vocabularies and the grammar structure, it would be so easy for us to pour the ideas in our mind into writings or pour the words into the speaking when we want to speak to people. So the third point is to increase general knowledge. For example, when you read something historical, your knowledge about history would also improve, and that could be happen in any field, depends on what text you are reading at the time. And finally, the fourth point is to develop learner autonomy. You are the one who decide what you want to read, when do you want to read, and when do you want to stop. Not anybody can manage it for you, so that you can make your reading experience more enjoyable, because that's what's the point of extensive reading. Overall, extensive reading leads us to the thirst about knowledge, so we want to read more and know more about it in an enjoyable way.
Okay, next, what kind of book should the students read? Anything and everything as long as it's graded readers series. Graded readers, also called readers, are books especially written for language students. These readers help learners to read systematically by introducing them to the easy language before they move up more difficult language.
About how we can incorporate extensive reading into our teaching. The first thing to remember is that extensive reading is something that takes time. This is one reason why some teachers are reluctant to get students to read in the classroom. However, I do think this is the place it needs to start, as students need to see that the teacher really value reading and are not simply studying for homework. So here are the 3 points of it. The first point is about to make the students feel enjoy about the reading. Let them choose whether they want to read about something. Let them just choose the topic for themselves. And the next one is take the students to the library or bring out the reader's box and get them to choose one box. This is due to encourage them to read the blurb on the back to get an idea of whether or not they are likely to find it interesting for them. And the last point is get the students to write a book review after they have finished the reading book. This can be posted on the wall, and the students can read the reviews to see if they might want to read the book. So, well, I think the first really things to remember is that extensive reading is not about checking, it's about helping our students enjoy reading and enjoy learnings. Yeah. Like that.
How can we build up a reading library? Usually, in every school or college, there is a library that can be used by students to study. But if you can't find a library in your institution, you can ask your friends to buy one graded reader that they will donate to the class, and then collect this in and keep them in a box. This then becomes the class library. If all of you are 30 in the class, you'll have 30 books in your library that you can borrow.
Last but not least is a topic about that my students hate reading. As we know, not all of students like to read a book. It is because of the thing like this. The first one is they use social networking to read a short story or a news rather read a book and novel. Currently, students are more interested in smartphone than a book, so it's only natural that we see many students prefer to hold a smartphone compared to books and novels. The second one is reading is not their habit. From a childhood, we're not accustomed to the book. Our parents do not provide a lot of book at home, so it makes us lazy to read and not used to reading a book. So, the biggest question is how to handle the students who do not like reading a book. The first one is find out what they are interested in. For example, if they like read a short story, then we provide a lot of short story to make them more interesting in reading. The second one, use an audiobook. Audiobooks provide a narrator to make it more interesting and to make students understand without read it carefully so they can enjoy listen to it without feel boring. As a conclusion, extensive reading helps the student to establish a reading habit in a fun way without any coercion. I think that's all for my group. Thanks for the attention.